St. John's is about the players. Coaches are important, yes, but there was always the players. They put the steak and potatoes on the table.
And the high fives continue.
What a great man.
Oh, he's wonderful.
He's a great person who you wanted to run through a wall for.
He's had the biggest impact on my life, on and off the court.
Coach, I wouldn't be who I am or where I am today if it wasn't for you.
Intense. He played as hard as we did on the court on the sideline.
He is so animated.
If you ever heard Louis on the sidelines, you couldn't understand those four-letter words or whatever they were, but he was lovable Lou.
Kiss a baby, shake a hand. He had the greatest passion for the game of basketball.
Anybody that doesn't have him at the absolute pinnacle of our profession is just ignorant in terms of basketball.
He knows how to teach as well as coach. He's my ideal.
They're my guys, that's it. I used to yell at them, praise them, got mad at them, loved them. I still love them.
New York City, birthplace and lifelong domain of Lou Carnesecca. Born in 1925, Lou was raised on Manhattan's East Side by his parents Alfredo and Adele, who immigrated from Italy 3 years prior. Louis's family owned Carnesecca's Italian delicatessen, which is where he met the love of his life, Mary.
Without Mary Carnesecca, there wouldn't be a Lou Carnesecca. She's the backbone. That's his head coach.
The two got married in 1951 and soon after had a daughter, Enos.
I don't know that my father's ever verbalized his feelings about St. John's, but it is so evident in everything about his life. And it's always been a part of our family's life.
Lou always had a passion for athletics, which led him to St. Anne's Academy for high school. But his higher education was put on hold when the U.S. entered World War II in 1941. Lou answered the call, serving in the U.S. Coast Guard for 3 years. When he returned home, his love for sports led him to St. John's, a school that had already captured his fascination.
The first time I saw St. John's team play was 1942 in Madison Square Garden. And I can still remember the St. John's team running out onto the floor with their big red uniforms. That was my first experience watching St. John's, and I fell in love with them.
We all know Lou Carnesecca and basketball are synonymous. But did you know that Lou was a member of the St. John's baseball team that advanced to the College World Series in 1949 under head coach Frank McGuire?
He was a good baseball player, incidentally, a second baseman, and he could hit very well.
I was terrible fielder. I don't know why.
And when he came to St. John's, he was Joe Lapchick's original assistant coach and freshman baseball coach for me.
There's very fond memories, and really my first love was baseball. Then I got involved with basketball. Forget about it.
Upon graduation, Lou Carnesecca returned to St. Anne's to begin his coaching career in 1950. After 2 Catholic high school championships, he joined the St. John's basketball coaching staff in 1957 as an assistant to the legendary Joe Lapchick. In 1965, Lapchick retired and passed the head coaching torch to Lou.
Our system was a very simple system. It was a pro-style play because the people I learned from had a pro background. I'm talking about Coach Lapchick, Frank McGuire, they had it, and I learned.
Lou Carnesecca made a postseason tournament in all 5 of his first seasons as head coach. But opportunity struck in 1970, and Lou left for the New York Nets of the ABA.
Back, Johnny! Back! Back there! Nice and easy now. Go get it.
Lou coached the Nets for 3 seasons before returning to Queens in 1973. The best was yet to come for Louis and the Johnnies. In the Big East's first year hosting its tournament at Madison Square Garden, Coach Carnesecca had St. John's in the final against Boston College.
83, when the Big East had the first tournament there, Coach Carnesecca said, "You guys, this is special. We're coming back to where we belong."
19,591 here at Madison Square Garden. Crowd counting it down. Garrison with going through, but that's the score. St. John's has defeated Boston College 85-77.
We were on a winning in 1983. Coach was like, we're walking with kings. Next day, all the cover, the New York Post, the Daily News, Billy Goodwin's on the backboard. It was cool.
If you try to duplicate that thing, you couldn't do it in 1,000 years because it was a simple incident I had gotten sick, and Mary said, look, you're going to play out in Pittsburgh. The gyms are cold and drafty. Grab a sweater. And I grabbed this sweater, which an Italian coach had given to me. And it was, I wouldn't say it was the prettiest one. It was rather ugly, to put it mildly.
Yeah, I remember him wearing it because he was sick. I think it was up in Pittsburgh.
Coach, where'd you get that thing? It was the ugliest thing I ever saw.
That sweater looks like a pizza that was dropped in the street.
So I put it on. We win the game. I gotta wear that sweater for every game.
It started getting a lot of pub because we kept winning. Coach used to joke, it's just a sweater. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Just give all the credit to the sweater.
And if I didn't wear the sweater, the kids would come and say, where's your sweater, Coach? So it became a cause célèbre. I had to wear that sweater.
Tonight at Madison Square Garden, St. John's against Georgetown, the defending national champions. It's a match made in sports writers' heaven.
Thinks it's like the Ali Frazier fight. And it's just a Big East regular scheduled game. It's unbelievable.
The stage is set. The winner tonight will be number one.
There was such electricity, so much enthusiasm. The crowd, you could feel it. Just walking, wow. I came out, with the usual sweater.
I came in the locker room. I had everything all closed up like that.
I still don't know how he replicated it.
And you hear the big roar.
Look at John. The place went wild.
Everyone was like, what's going on here? This is weird. It was a pretty good play, though, by him.
What's the word they use? Seminal moment. When he was walking in, you could just feel the days of the Coliseum, like, let's go get him. He opened that up, and it just took the air out of the building.
I didn't mind him upstaging me with the sweater, but when he beat me, that really hurt.
The 1984-85 was a season to remember for St. John's. With a huge road win at Georgetown on January 26th, the Johnnies became the #1 team in the nation, a ranking they would hold on to for 4 straight weeks.
St. John's, we're #1, baby.
Basketball, the city game, and the #1 team in the country for most of this year, St. John's of Queens, New York, a city school if ever there were one.
St. John's entered the NCAA tournament with 27 wins and a #1 seed in the West region. The Johnnies beat Southern University and Arkansas to set up a Sweet 16 matchup with Kentucky.
Perry puts it away. St. John's has won their 30th game of the year. They will meet North Carolina State for the championship of the West Regional.
In the Elite Eight, Coach Carnesecca's squad took on Jim Valvano's Wolfpack.
Jackson. This is uncontested.
High-fiving Chris Mullen.
We're going, Coach Carnesecca yelled on the sideline, hardly containing his excitement in the final seconds of a 9-point Elite 8 win.
St. John's is on their way to Lexington. The 4 teams have earned the right to play in Rupp Arena.
It's just one of the most wonderful feelings you can get. All that work, all that worry, and then finally make it to Final Four, and you're going. It's something which you can't describe.
St. John's Final Four run had New York City buzzing, and with Walter Berry and Mark Jackson returning for an encore, Coach Carnesecca guided the Johnnies to 27 regular season wins, earning him his 3rd Big East Coach of the Year award in 4 seasons. The Big East tourney final came down to Louis versus Boeheim, the Truth versus the Pearl. St. John's versus Syracuse. The Johnnies trailed for the entire game, but a furious second-half comeback made this final an all-time classic.
As the defense has caused them to run some clock. Rowan hits it with 9 seconds to go. Syracuse runs up the floor with no timeouts. The Pearl blocked, and it's over. The St. John's Redmen have just taken the lead for the first time tonight as St. John's wins its second Big East title in 4 years, the closest Big East title game ever, a one-point game.
I think the best move of the night may have been the coach when time ran out.
Let me tell you, and this is not to philosophize. Look at 1 point, complete ecstasy. You blow it, your head is in the sand. But my head is ecstasy now.
Congratulations, Lou.
And St. John's has given its head coach, Lou Carnesecca, the 500th career win at St. John's University.
How many more you got left in you? What do you think? One more?
One more.
One at a time?
One at a time.
Slow and steady wins the race?
I'll tell you what, kids were marvelous today.
They certainly were. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
It took just 2 tries for Lou Carnesecca to reach a milestone 500 victories at St. John's. Lou Carnesecca became the 30th coach in college basketball history to win 500 games.
But the game was more important than the 500 wins because, as I said, we have to stay in the thick of this thing here. If we win 500 games and not in the thick of it, then it's worth nothing.
But Louis' team was in the thick of it, rallying off 3 wins in the NCAA tournament, including a 17-point victory over number 1 seed Ohio State to reach Coach Carnesecca's 3rd career Elite 8. But after another NCAA appearance in 1992, Coach Carnesecca had some news to share.
I think you've heard me say many times that it would be very difficult for me to put the ball down. But I think the time has come now. And why? 2 very simple reasons. Number 1, I still have half of my marbles. And number 2, I still have a wonderful taste in my mouth about basketball.
Lou Carnesecca, after 24 seasons of coaching his alma mater, St. John's, announces retirement today.
Louis, pure and simple, as a class act. On the record or off, I've never heard a negative word from him about anybody. How many people can you say that about in the world of sports?
Many times in this profession, you're asked to leave when you don't want to leave. I was very fortunate that I was able at least to pick the time where I felt it was time for me to go.
That same year, Louis was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame.
I know it's difficult to undo what nature has done, but I think, it could have made me a little better than that. I mean, really, I'm much better looking than that.
526 wins, 24 postseason tournaments in 24 years, 1 Final Four and 3 Elite 8 trips, an NIT championship, 2 Big East tournament titles, back-to-back 30-win seasons in 1984 and 85, 3-time Big East Coach of the Year, voted National Coach of the Year twice by the USBWA and once by the NABC. The list of honors for Coach Carnesecca in his time at St. John's is seemingly endless. But more importantly, so too is the amount of lives he touched on and off the court. While the scale of his impact on the basketball world and St. John's community is immeasurable, one thing's for certain. There was and will always be only one Lou Carnesecca. Coach, we love and miss you. May you rest in peace.